Lyons, and we're really fortunate to have him with us. Tom Lyons from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. Tom, thanks for joining us, particularly at this hour. Give us a sense right now what you are hearing from these areas that are affected by the tornado warning.
You know, we're seeing what you're seeing, which is, you know, we're in for a period of very severe weather in the overnight hours. We've already had several tornado warnings. There's a tornado watch for most of eastern Massachusetts, or actually southeastern Massachusetts, till 7 in the morning. We have most of the state under a flash flood warning. And so we're just monitoring the storm very closely and appreciating what you and the media are doing just to keep people informed and, you know, give them the most up-to-date information as this weather comes through our area.
And Tom, normally I would guess this far into a tornado warning, with all of these things popping up on the maps, that you folks would have maybe heard something about damage or perhaps had a spotter see something on the ground. But I'm assuming that there's a whole other obstacle to something like this when it's happening so late at night.
Yeah, I mean, it's really challenging when this weather comes through at night, but, you know, I just took a look at our status board, and it doesn't appear like we're getting any reports from localities in the areas where these warnings are taking place of any reported damage. But again, we'll likely, you know, it's oftentimes in these tropical systems, as your meteorologists have said, you can get these quick spin-ups, and sometimes you don't see the damage until the morning, particularly if they don't happen in a residential area. So we'll definitely be looking in the daylight hours to see if any of these tornado warnings actually produced a damage-causing tornado. But I would also, you know, use this as an opportunity just to make sure people are very weather aware. I know some people may be sleeping through all of this, but if you're in one of these areas that gets a warning, and most cell phones do have their emergency alerts activated as a default. So there are a lot of people getting alerts from the National Weather Service in those areas. And that's something that we always have people check, not only watching your local news, but making sure that your cell phones have their emergency alerts activated so they can get the latest warnings for their area.
Tom, give us a sense, because we sort of have a triple threat here with these tornado watches and warnings, with the potential for flooding. We have the potential for power outages because of the winds and the ground that is so saturated after all the rain that we have received. What will MEMA be doing in the next, say, hour, and then even stretching into the morning once this begins to clear and we're still left with a lot of standing water potentially?
Yeah, I mean, our job right now is to just keep, you know, close, what we call situational awareness on this whole event. And so we're monitoring this. We'll be monitoring this throughout this storm, and we will be working with our local emergency management partners in the 351 communities throughout the state, making sure that we're keeping in close touch with them through our regional staff. And if there are any requests for assistance from any community, we'll make sure that those resource requests are answered. For the public, we just really want to emphasize for them to be weather aware when we're in situations like this. So, you know, the basic advice, which you've all been sharing, if you're in one of these, you know, sometimes people get confused. They hear tornado watch, tornado warning. They should simply think of, if there is a tornado watch or any kind of a watch, have a plan. Think through what you would do if an event like a tornado would happen. A tornado warning means you take action. And so the action for a tornado warning is to make sure that you get to the lowest part of your building, in a sturdy building, in an interior room away from windows and glass, and make sure that you're able to monitor the situation somehow on your phone or a radio or on TV until the warning is called off by the National Weather Service. On the flood side, again, you just you know, as people wake up, we really want them to check the forecast and check the commuting news, which you all do such a good job covering in the morning, and just really make sure that they have a safe passage to wherever they're going tomorrow. Certainly, we don't want anyone driving through flooded waters. You know, we often see that. Even though we tell people don't drive through flooded waters, we often see people trying to make it through areas with floodwaters in them, and it doesn't take much water to move a vehicle or to sweep you off your feet very quickly. That makes it dangerous both for the person driving through it, but also first responders that need to respond and help the person. So again, just stay very weather aware before they head out in the morning. Check the forecast, check the commute, just to make sure that things are safe before they head out the door.
Well, Tom, we know you have a very long night ahead of you. I think there'll be very little sleep happening. So we really do appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us here on Channel 4. That's Tom Lyons from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. Thank you so much, Tom.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it. Tom talking about the importance of